Poi series. I'm Sally and today we're going to be learning the trick of the week, which is the butterfly. The butterfly is so called because when the poi heads are on fire or alight with LED, the light trails give the appearance of the wings of the butterfly beating up and down, and it's a very pretty move, and it is one of the first moves that I learnt, and I recommend that you learn it too because it's a great move to transition into other more complicated moves. This is what the trick looks like from the front and from the side and from behind. And this is how we're going to learn it. So first, what you need to be able to do is just take one poi, is to create circles. And for this move, you want the poi heads to be moving inwards. So from your perspective, it is going to look like the poi is spinning anti-clockwise. From your audience, the poi will look like they're spinning clockwise. Make sure you can do that with both hands comfortably. So left and right. And when you're doing this, you want to pay attention to your planes. So planes is where the poi fits within the spinning space. And for this move, you really want the planes to be straight. Imagine you are spinning your poi up against a flat wall. And so the poi wouldn't be moving at any strange angles. And the poi would be spinning parallel to the wall. Once you are ready, take both your poi heads and get them spinning in towards each other. You'll notice there my poi heads are tapping. We want to avoid that. In order to combat the poi heads tapping, again, check your planes. And I would recommend having one hand slightly in front of the other. This will make it easier when you bring your wrists together. So I'm going to put my right hand slightly ahead. And to get the feel of this move, I want you to pay attention of the bounce. Okay, feeling the weight of the poi drop down and swinging back up, because it's the bounce that you're looking for to bring your wrists together. So bounce, 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 and slowly, keeping one wrist in front of the other, bring your wrists together, and you should achieve the butterfly move. So let's talk about troubleshooting. If you are struggling to keep your poi heads apart, there's a couple of things you can do. Firstly, as I mentioned before, check your planes so that they are straight, and imagine that they are spinning parallel in line with an upright brick wall. However, you might find that one of your poi, I notice my left poi, because that's my weakest hand, might need to be at a very slight angle to accommodate the parallelness of the other hand, just to help them scoot past each other. So have a little look at that. The other thing is you might be struggling with actually getting your wrists together. So when I do this, as I said, the poi heads are spinning and they're meeting down the centre. You want one hand ever so slightly in front of the other, but when you're learning you might want to exaggerate that slightly, so there's a big noticeable gap. The point as you feel the weight of the poi heads go down, so like that, down, that's when you want to move in and get your wrists together. So down, down, and then you continue the bounce. So your wrists are going to be like this. So I typically have my right wrist on top of my left wrist. They are bouncing at the same time. You might find that when you bring them in together, one of your wrists you have to give an additional bit of momentum to, so there's an extra flick of the wrist, and then they should bounce back in and become more aligned with each other to keep the move going. Also check in with the length of your poi. If you're struggling to get the timing with this, you could try, in fact, lengthening your poi. Even though they might be more likely to get tangled up, some people find that the longer the length of the poi offers a little bit more drag and resistance when the poi is spinning through the air. So that means it will actually slow them down, and that might just give you a little bit more time, thinking space, to think about what you're doing and where your wrists and hands need to be placed. So once we have mastered the butterfly, you'll want to transition into other moves. And there's a couple of suggestions I have for you. The first one is a natural transition into what's called thread the needle. And what we're simply doing is maintaining that bounce that we did in the butterfly move, and we are switching one wrist on top of the other. Alternatively, we can start in butterfly and extend our arms out, maintaining the spin. We can add in a little bit of thread the needle. And I think they work really well together. And of course there's always variations, so we have the reverse butterfly, which is pretty much the same move. Originally the poi heads were going out and dropping back in down the centre line. With reverse butterfly you are simply reversing the direction of the spin, so this time the poi head scoops under, travels up the centre line and back out again. The same techniques and same steps apply. You need to be able to spin both poi in a circular direction in a ball plane, and then taking one hand slightly below the other. I find with this one there's a slightly bigger gap between my wrists, but maybe that's because I don't practice this move as much. So you stall and take it back the other way, stall. And you could have fun just going backwards and forwards.
You're just a flirt.